So that is actually something that I've been considering a lot lately, is the whole idea of trust. When my consideration is going down along the path of, is there a certain level, my dog's having some sort of a dream, she's struggling. um is there some level of trust that you begin with? Is there a baseline level that you start with? So for example, when you go in and you're doing a job interview, a lot of the job interview process is to build up that trust between you as the potential employee and them, the potential employer. They need to create trust that you can do the job that they want you to do, and you need to create trust with them that they can provide you with what you need to be what you need. So I like, it's one of those things that wondering when I'm wondering if there is a specific level of trust that every relationship, every conversation, every team begins with, whether that's like just a small amount or not. And then you I'm wondering, like, I'm just thinking and wondering right now out loud about some of this stuff. Not necessarily, like, you don't necessarily need to address, although I feel like you might have
Oh, you know I'm going to have fun with that. I'm just trying to hold my breath while you finish your thought so I can rip it apart.
yeah, because I'm still like putting it all out there. Like there's a certain,
Just keep going. Give me what to chew on.
I feel like there's a certain baseline level of trust that you enter into with a lot of people. And I think especially like with companies.
Yeah, and I think that actually baseline trust is negative.
You think so? Okay. So in my view tends to, I think that, so I think that there is a baseline level, and I think that you start building it up as you are having conversations with people and you're talking with them and stuff. I also believe that that baseline level of trust can be very much influenced by everything going on and people around you. So for example, if you and I were to go to a conference and there was somebody there that I knew, and I would want you, and I could influence your baseline level of trust with that person by talking to you about them. I could either like talk bad and talk to them, talk to you about how they screwed me at some point, or I could talk really good and increase that baseline level of trust by talking about how they brought me business and this business was really good, or some things like that. Like, I think that you can walk into conversations with it, and I think that can be influenced one way or the other. I don't necessarily know that we always have a zero level of trust. I don't think, like, I don't think the baseline when you walk into a relationship with somebody, because all communication, all interactions are relationship oriented. I don't think we always walk in with a zero level. I think we walk in with a lot of preconceived notions about things that when we look at somebody, we that like sends off triggers and stuff in our heads, and that zero either goes positive or, as you pointed out, goes negative. I think that's where my head is at right now, and that was just me like really going around and stuff.
Cool. I'm going to have fun with this then.
Ooh, yay.
Where to start? Okay, so
Don't.
no, I have to. I have to. This is going to be fun. So when a lot of salespeople like doing chasing yes, right? And they think if I can get a few yeses, they'll just keep that yes train rolling. Um, this is obviously the worst technique in the history of man, right? The only person that likes to hear yes is the kid doing wrong things when he knows he's doing wrong things. So I believe we start off with automatic no, which is essentially a negative trust. So if I'm coming to you and I'm looking for a question, I'm like, is right now a terrible time to talk to you? Right? Versus where I hope you say no, okay, I'll suffer you a little bit. Versus, hey, is now okay time to talk to you? Right? Can I talk to you? Where you have to say yes, right? Do you have a few minutes for me? That yes is so much harder than the no,
Okay.
right? Uh, so that the to answering no to this question is easier, and I'm not trying to present the sales value of this, but the argument is automatically by saying no, we realize that it's we're inclined to the negative. We're inclined to not trusting entirely. It's hard to open up, right? Now, obviously, in the case where we're looking at somebody you've hired, you've built up the trust and you built up the relationship. Another way to look at this is um, in a relationship with somebody new, right? Love doesn't love is different than lust, right? You can go into a relationship at a bar lusting after somebody and have zero trust in them, right? But it's exciting and you get a lot of good feelings from it for a while, right? But it has nothing to do with the negative or positive relationship. It's the kind of momentary instant reward where we want to develop trust and relationship. This takes time. This is you have to as quickly as possible get over, in my opinion, get over the romantic period and get into a relationship where you understand what each other's needs are and what the standards are. And I think this goes through trial.
So I would rephrase romantic and say infatuation. Um,
I like both.
well, I don't, because so you can still enter like so you can the infatuation stage in a relationship. So first off, let me point out it took us almost an hour to get to talking about relationships. We always end up,
I said we're so outgrowing talking about relationships. We're moving on to lust.
yeah, we're never going to outgrow relationships because everything is relationship oriented. I like any sort of relationship you end up starting, or not, maybe not any sort of, but a lot of relationships you always end up starting in an infatuation stage, and I think in that infatuation stage ends up running out. I like to use that phrase instead of romantic because I feel like, and I think you can continue a romantic relationship with somebody throughout the years. It's just not going to be like that infatuation romantic. It's going to be that, oh, you know my love language and you did something today after 10 years of marriage that um really leans into my love language. Like, you really met that today. I feel romantic, like this feels romantic to me, like that type of thing.
I like it when you talk about love languages.
It is a very good book, and very good way of viewing things.
It is a good book. It's a good book. Um, I think there's a lot of value to re, um, in every relationship. You go from your imaginary picture of what's happening, and you replace it with another imaginary picture of how you feel it based off how it relates to you.
Yep. Yep.
And I wish I could say, yeah, you go from this imaginary picture to reality. Nobody does. Everybody goes from one imaginary picture to how they feel they're being heard.
I do want to caution that, so there is a reality. Like, there is reality.
What's a woman?
There's truth, like truth with a capital T. And so the whole idea is that if you are not trying, so this kind of veers off into life lessons and life pursuits. If you are not trying to push yourself or veer yourself into pursuit of that reality or pursuit of that truth, you're going to end up sticking with that initial view that Phil was talking about with things like all the time. And that is a very immature way to view the world, and a very immature way to to conduct relationships. Because if you are if you are pursuing getting to know somebody, or getting to know the reality of the situations and stuff, your perception of reality should then be changing. If your perception of reality is like just static, and you notice it, you have some growing up to do. So that's my 2 cents on that aspect.
I like that you really took the fact that there is a truth out there and made fun of static reality at the same time. That's cool. To conflict those two concepts is beautiful.
Because that's the thing, is perception really is reality. Your perception of the world is your reality of the world, and you need, like, this is very like very much heavy philosophy stuff. You and it's extremely important for you to recognize that.
I'm going to tease you about reality versus your personal conception model.
Well, but that's what I'm essentially talking about. Like, you're so like there's, like I said, there is reality. Okay, there's reality. This,
And it's true. The gravity will hurt if you jump out the window.
yeah, gravity. Gravity. We can take gravity as a really awesome example. Gravity here on Earth is 9.8 meters per second squared. That is a constant. That is reality. There is nothing that you can do to change that reality at this position on Earth. Okay, you cannot do that. There's nothing, at least as far as science is concerned. But we can we can change the way we perceive that reality by doing certain things.
Drugs.
For drugs, jumping off a roof, for example. I mean, I'm dead serious about that. Like, you can make a jump, and you are not then at that for a certain amount of time. You are not perceiving gravity the way that somebody else is that's just standing still is perceiving gravity. It's all about changing your frame of reference. It's all about changing your perception of reality. And like I said, the biggest thing is that your perception is very much what defines your reality. There's like this whole discussion and stuff about your truth and your view. I hate that phrase, because in my
It's so bullshit. It's so bullshit. It's like my reality is this, and who are you to judge on my reality? You Hitler, and like firstly, they don't even know anything about Hitler, right?
Godwin's law. Godwin's law. We just passed Godwin's law. You know what I'm talking about, right?
No, I like the term, and I'm going to check it out. But
Godwin's law. Hold on. I'm going to give you the Godwin's law states that any online discussion that goes on and on and on, the probability of a comparison to Nazis or Hitler approaches 1, and we just hit it. It took us nine episodes, however many hours, and we hit Godwin's law. Congratulations.
I had to hit it because I'm listening to some people debating, and every debate with a certain group of people comes into "you're this." I'm like, do you know what that is? Even
Again, Godwin's law. Like, that's what it. All of anyway. Trying to rescue this conversation. You like there is like that. I don't like that phrase, your truth, your whatever, because it does distort it. And it's not your truth, it's your perception, it's your view. And sometimes your perception and your view is wrong. And so to actually kind of try to connect this a little bit to do you need to go, or are we good?
no, we're good. We're good. There's a lot of movement around, and I like movement. It makes me happy. I'm thinking. I just want. I'm trying to hold back. I'm going to tease anyway since I started talking. I love it when you can say something is true unequivocally and then change it the next day, and it's still true unequivocally, even though yesterday you had that, and you don't realize that if you can change truth, it's not truth.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's what would you call it?
Honestly, I would call it a delusion. I know I kind of just went there, but the thing is
You so with there. I love it. You hurt my feelings.
that's just it is so sometimes when your perception does not match reality and you are unable to change your perception to match reality, you need like that's when you need help. That's when you are in essentially in a delusional state because you're perceiving like I mean a stupid example is all right, the sky is blue. Well, if you perceive the sky as green, there is something wrong. Your perception of reality, the sky being blue, is distorted so that the sky looks green. And you cannot and you cannot change that perception. Then you need to go and you need to make a change. You need to figure out why you are not able to perceive reality in the same way and in the correct way as people. And that's it's weird to say it that way, like because it kind of implies also you have to go along with the crowd. Like that's not really what I'm saying.
No, no, it doesn't because if you have, there's no good argument for saying blue. I know it's blue. I'm deciding it's green because that's what I want it to be. Like even if you want to call that color green, if everybody in the world says that pigment is blue, and you think you see the blue in a different way, you don't. You just have to call it what everybody else calls it because that's language. And you may not like the language. You can go create your own language, write a program to talk to it. But it's still the same thing, right? Just because you want to call it something else doesn't justify changing other people's reality to fit your mood.
Right, right. And see, and this is where negotiation comes into play. Like your negotiation, I'll bring him up. Jordan Peterson talks about this. Your personality, your place in society, your relationship with society is not a dictatorial thing. You do not dictate to society any of that stuff. You just don't. It's a negotiation between you and society. So you have to negotiate that stuff with them. And so that's kind of like what when your reality or your perception of reality does not match the rest of society, it's not necessarily saying that you have to go along with whatever society is saying. It's you essentially have to sit down and negotiate with society to figure out what is the appropriate action to move forward on here. And sometimes that really is you completely and utterly shifting your perception of reality to whatever society it is. Other times it's society making the incremental step towards you. Like that happens every so often. I mean, we could take an example of women voting, for example. We'll go there. Like for the longest time, people didn't want people to. They didn't want women to vote. People just didn't want that, and it took a long time to